Great. Yeah, let's begin, folks. Yeah.
Sure. So I'll probably show what I've built in the last couple of weeks. Uh, Let me share my screen first. So I think the last time around we'd built a short demo that was restricted to the biggest lakes, which had the most, which had the most number of like eBird observations. We've now scaled it to all the water bodies in Anekal. So I'll just show what the dashboard looks like now. Uh, Adi, for some reason, I'm not able to share my screen. Is this a
Oh,
setting
sorry.
you?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it should be okay now.
Yeah. So you probably are seeing the Google Maps or the map screen, right?
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
OSM. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So as you can see now, the dashboard has been extended to all the water bodies. So previously we'd done it for only like 4 or 5 of the bigger ones, which had the most number of observations. Uh, So I mean, in principle, the concept is the same. We've just like combined core stack data and OSM data to create a hybrid lakes data set, and then we filtered out lakes greater than a certain area threshold. So yeah, we end up with around 205 water bodies. There are 244 in total when you combine core stack and OSM. And then when you filter out the smaller lakes, less than half a hectare in area, then you end up with around 205 water bodies. Um, so the way we did it is, yeah, wherever we thought that the OSM polygons look far superior to core stack ones, we've used the OSM polygons. But for all the water bodies, the metadata from core stack is still intact. We've tried to create a truly hybrid uh, data set incorporating the best of both the data sets. There were some challenges, mostly when you have like multiple polygons which are not connected. So then the code sometimes identifies it as multiple lakes. So we've had to kind of do some workarounds to make sure, uh, that is avoided. For instance, here you see that it's not complete. So this is one example where when you have like two different polygons, there is a risk that it gets detected as two different water bodies. So we incorporated some corrections, but yeah, there will probably be one or two outliers. But yeah, there's been a lot of effort put in on that front just to make sure that the multiple polygons, not all of them get counted as a separate water body. So we've used like a proximity based logic to make sure they map to the nearest water body. I would say by and large it is working. Only, yeah, this one here, maybe the overlap distance the distance between the two polygons is a little larger. That's why it's still showing up as two different water bodies. Uh, yeah, and then for instance, this is an example where we retain the core stack polygons. Uh, yeah, if it's OSM, you'll see it's a lot more complete. When it's core stack, it's a little more staggered. But in case it's usable, we've retained the shape from core stack. The buffer area, we've based it on the area of the lake. So we have three categories: large, small, small, medium, and large. So depending on which category the lake in, we've identified a buffer so that any observation lying within this region of the water body plus the buffer gets allocated uh, to the water body. Uh, so then going into the UI, we've just made some minor changes here. So now when you click on a water body, you get a pop-up which tells you the lifetime species count. This is not the yearly count. This is just the indication of all the species uh, of birds or butterflies or dragonflies that have been uh, detected at this particular water body. The birds data is from eBird. We've also added an uh, extra tab for water birds. These are basically birds which depend on a wetland habitat. This will probably be refined, but yeah, basically you can classify birds based on their habitat, and the ones that need like a wetland habitat, we've classified them as water birds. Uh, yeah, butterflies and dragonflies. This is from INAT. This is an exception. Most lakes don't have enough data. I'll come to that in a bit. But yeah, this is basically how the overview tab looks like. And here you get a temporal trend of the last 5 years. So up until 2025, we have data stored uh, in a local file, both for eBird as well as INAT. And the idea is for 2026, we query the data monthly in terms of eBird and probably quarterly or once every 6 months for INAT, and use that to populate the 2026 column. But basically, this tab is supposed to give you like a temporal overview over 5 years. And this is basically also just a graphical representation of what we just what was in the previous tab. So we've kept it to that in terms of what's being shown in the dashboard. There are, of course, a lot more possibilities, but yeah, we first thought we'll get the basic sites. Like the ones in gray, what you see here are lakes where you just don't have enough data. Either in eBird or from INAT, both of them combined. So you do see a lot of quite a few of them. And yeah, we also see INAT observations are not that many. Relatively, eBird is, there are there are a lot more observations. Also, INAT, we're not considering the bird data, and I think that also is probably why we don't see a lot of INAT data in a lot of the smaller lakes. Yeah, for instance, this small one here, barely any butterfly, barely any observations. So that's what we have. It's basically been scaled for the whole of Anekal bounds. There are a lot more possibilities once we have this data, especially for lakes where you have a lot of data. You can do a lot of trend-based analysis. But I think for the POC, maybe we thought we'll keep it to this. OSM also has other features, like it also identifies other features like grasslands and wetlands and also protected areas, if I'm not wrong. I've not looked too deeply into it, but in principle, we can also easily scale this to other features. So in the code, it's just like a different type of polygon, but all the operations behind will still remain the same. So that's where we are. I think, I also spoke to Kaustubh, and we want to probably discuss, how we integrate this into core stack and on Kaustubh's blog, and also the kind of things we might want to look ahead and develop. But this is where we are at currently.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a bunch of questions. Let's go ahead. Trishal and Shubham, you also wanted to ask something?
Yes, I wanted to ask why there has been put a threshold over the area of the lake, and why we are removing all the water bodies which have larger area.
We are removing the ones which have a very small area. So, for instance, less than half a hectare, we've removed them. basically, yeah, I don't have the file. I'll try to find it. OSM seems to detect a lot of smaller specks. Uh, yeah, I could not understand why they have been flagged as water bodies. So, and anyway, like the smaller water bodies don't generally have too many observations. So, just to keep it clean, I've eliminated lakes smaller than half a hectare in area. I'll try to see if there is an unfiltered version
Okay,
available.
I got it.
Yeah, so it's the other way around. The larger lakes are all in. It's just the smaller specks on OSM which are hard to make sense of. Those have been eliminated.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Anup. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Disha.
Right. Thank you for that presentation, Anup. Anekal is very close to the part of Bangalore that I grew up in, all my BTM layout. So I'm glad that there's more people out there who are concerned about the state of our lakes in this region before they become apartment complexes. Just one thing that I wanted to point out is something that as part of my team in Deloitte, we do a lot of water quality monitoring services based on, say, satellite data. And I think I wanted to point you to one open source research that allows you to quickly publish water quality indices based on Sentinel and Landsat data. I'm just pasting that link here on chat. I think this
Oh,
provides a baseline methodology for measuring chlorophyll, trophic state index, and different measures of turbidity, like TSS, Seshi depth, and stuff like that. Of course, it will require a lot of ground truthing based on field data. But at least to start off as a baseline, this contains, say, the papers which have given out methodologies for different regions, different types of water bodies, and put quite simply the band math to at least get a baseline of water quality indices. So that's maybe something that when we click on these water bodies, that could be published too. Yeah, just
yeah.
for your reference.
Yeah, super useful.
Yeah.
I think that'll be very interesting to look at and integrate the data into here. Because yeah, I think one area that we'd also been discussing with Kaustav was, yeah, we look into like different guilds, like how different types of water birds are behaving. So you can kind of correlate that to maybe water quality indices also. But even if not, I think just having it as like it'll be useful to have it as like one of a pop-up, like where you just click and you get that information. I think that'll be extremely useful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thanks
And just
for
again,
that. I'll investigate and see how we can get it onto
no,
that.
and just of course the strong disclaimer that this is purely based on literature that might be relevant for a specific time in that specific region. Before we say, at least as Deloitte, when we even present these solutions to the market, we do it only after extensive ground truthing based on in situ measurements. So
Okay.
that maybe if we're going to be publishing those values, that's one disclaimer we'll have to keep in mind as well.
Yeah, noted. But thanks. I think it'll be good to like think on those lines and see what the possibilities are. But I think already for like the waterbird trend analysis, this might be useful to kind of correlate the two in some way. But I'll check the link and see what
Yes,
can
sir.
be done. And I think
Hi,
just to
Trishul. Sorry, Adi,
yeah.
just a question. Do you know what is the minimum pixel numbers which are needed? I'm guessing for the satellite data to be statistically meaningful, like because some of these lakes are quite small. I mean,
Absolutely. So, Kaustav, when we use Sentinel-2 or Landsat data, that comes with a restriction of the pixel sizes being 10 meters or 30 meters respectively. And what I mean to say is each of those 10-meter pixels, you will get one raster value or, the color of that lake based on which those calculations are being made. So, for instance, I've run a lot of tests on Madiwala Lake itself.
right.
It's a neighborhood. And of course, there's going to be seasonal variations in the structure of that lake itself. But for the pixels that are visible, we are able to extract these parameters that's mentioned in the document.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it'll be good. I mean, if you have done some of this, it'll be good to find out what you have done to see, because even I know Madiwala fairly well. So it'll be good to see if it correlates with what I've been observing there.
absolutely, yeah. So for Madiwala specifically, we ended up purchasing our own TSS meters and going and seeing, how it holds up with what we're observing with Sentinel-2 data for those respective days. But of course, when say before we take it to clients and all, it's a much more comprehensive study where we ask for at least 100, 150 data points across different seasons before we're able to say that, here's the water quality parameters per se. It's still very much a work in progress, and I'm not sure how much of it is locked behind Deloitte's proprietary processes, but this literature that I've shared is completely open access, and it should be a good starting point. But I'm happy to discuss further.
One small question: what are those pink areas around the water bodies which have been mapped out?
These ones. So these are buffer areas. So like based on the lake area, just maintain a certain buffer. So the idea is all your observations around the water body, you want it assigned to that water body, basically. So it's like a 50-meter buffer for some of the bigger lakes. So yeah, because if it's in the vicinity also, then yeah, technically it should be in the assigned to the water body. That's right.
Great. Yeah, I know this is great, and the documentation also that you shared, right? I think with all the notebooks and everything, that's also very rich. So it really sets it up for eventually for integrating into the stack, right? So all the cleaning that you did with filtering out the water bodies, and one thing that I wanted to ask is so it was also very good to see that you'd broken up the process of ingesting data for historical data, yeah, from eBird and INET, and separately a process to refresh the data, yeah,
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
a rolling basis.
Yeah.
So, I think just for simplification, I mean, I was thinking that, would a monthly frequency be too high? Or, even because even if we refresh, let's say every 6 months or a year, I think for the purposes of tracking, right? Because eventually we want to track trends over several years.
Yeah.
So maybe that can be a simplification
Sure.
we can think about. Um, then I think distinguishing between the water birds and non-water birds, that is great. Does eBird also provide anything to distinguish between resident and migratory birds?
That we can, I think maybe Kaustubh is better placed to answer this. But from the code, we
Yeah, I
can
mean,
also.
the species lists are published.
But I would guess it would
Sorry,
be.
Anu, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, and also from the code, we can also figure out, like, because sometimes migrants in one lake can be residents in the other. So based on like when they were, like which part of the year, they were detected, you can also classify based on the data itself and not based on a list.
Hmm.
You know.
So that's interesting because it depends. I guess it's the definition of what is a migrant or resident bird, right? That are we thinking about birds coming from outside of some large area, right? Like Karnataka or South India, that kind of a range where the birds are coming from outside. So these are things on which it would be good to pick Suhail Kader's brains, and I think we should get back in touch, I think.
I think it'll also depend on what Kaustubh wants in the dashboard, I think. So I think that will dictate what we want to also show here. Because I think there's a lot of data we can mine and show.
Sorry.
So no, I was saying it depends. Sorry, there was a lag, I think. But I was just saying that it depends on what you want to show on the dashboard. I think it'll depend on that, Kaustubh. Kaustubh here?
Kaustubh is here, but maybe he was having some connection issues.
And in the meantime, just to answer
Hmm.
Shubham's query, like OSM has these random specs which I not really able to figure out. So that's why I had to eliminate smaller lakes. Otherwise, yeah, I ended up with this basically. So that's why I had to filter out the smaller water bodies.
Acha, that reminds me one more thing. So OSM actually labels water bodies differently from wetlands. One of the files that you shared, one of the shape files. So then it's interesting. So in the CoStack, we have no knowledge of any of that, right? We're just looking at the water sensing. So the polygons that the CoStack had identified were large polygons, but OSM had these split into a water body and a wetland separately. Um, so I mean, I think over here we should look at both. Yeah, when you're filtering, we should get the wetland polygons also. Wetland tag, basically.
Yeah, I'll try that. It should be around the water body anyway, so I think we'll kind of yeah. It should be a very simple. Yeah, you're just filtering an additional polygon type, so should be fairly simple. So I'll run and see how it goes.
Awesome. Cool.
It's Kaustav back because we were discussing about integration. I think that's the part I'm not very clear, because this is all for now local files run on my Jupyter notebooks. So like at what stage do we want to because I think Kaustav also maintains the dashboard on his blog, on his website, if I'm not wrong. So I was just wondering what's the plan there in terms of integrating this there. Because one option could be to publish this on GitHub and then embed the URL in Kaustav's website just to start with and see if it's working. But I don't know how you envision integration into CoreStack, or is that for a later conversation?
Yeah. I mean, so for CoStack, we'll do it basically through these pipelines that we've set up, right? That for any tehsil, when we demarcate the water bodies using remote sensing, then after that, let's work together that we can use the logic that you've built out, right?
Yeah.
So then for that tehsil, we also intersect the water bodies with the OSM water bodies and wetlands. We clean up the polygons, and then we say this pipeline basically downloads the historical data and so on, right? And then it keeps refreshing. So then on the CoStack dashboard, wherever we are seeing the water bodies, then we'll also have a section on the flora and fauna around the water bodies. So over there, I'm quite clear. But to embed it in Kaustubh's website, I think we'll need to go deeper, right? And work with Kaustubh to see how is the data being shown currently.
Yeah.
And then try to set up some kind of a process so that some like you're saying, right? One way is just to put up this file itself or the data on GitHub, right? Or similarly to publish it in some data format which can be read on Kaustubh's website.
Correct. So I think we would need some guidance. I'll need some guidance on that front.
Cool. Yeah. So Kaustubh is probably.
No, I'm back.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, so I was telling Anup this is at the very far edge of my technical knowledge. So I wouldn't know what it means to integrate something like this. But I think from my purposes, it's desirable to have information which is dynamic and easily looked up, But I guess one will have to figure out how exactly to put this into what we have, which is a leaflet app, I think. So I don't know what are the intricacies involved in integrating something like that. Because I had a research assistant do all this for me. I just knew what I wanted.
Yeah. Okay. Any suggestions from is Kshitij or someone from the CoStack team who can advise? Kapil, can't hear you if you're saying something.
Yeah, Amit is trying to. Yeah. So Edison, actually, we logged out during that question, our network. So
Okay.
can you repeat that? You just logged out.
No, we were just discussing that on the Tanks of Anekal website, right? That's in
Mm-hmm.
leaflet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be a good way so that now the data that's been processed, right? Now let's assume that once we also integrate with the core stack, then this kind of data will keep getting refreshed, right? Every 6 months or a year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be a good way to load the data on the Tanks of Anekal website?
We want to load the data on that website.
Well, we want to do it on both the CoStack dashboard as well, right? But
Mm-hmm.
also on the Tanks of Anekal website.
Okay, it's in leaflet website.
Hmm.
Okay. On core stack dashboard, we will do it via API or GeoJSON. So actually, I also never look at the leaflet. So we need to look at the leaflet architecture, how it is accessing the data.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess leaflet also handle the GeoJSONs. It can also capable to handle the GeoJSONs. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one way we can take,
Mm.
because core stack is also on our dashboard. We also handle these data from the GeoJSON. So the similar method we can apply on the leaflet also.
Mm-hmm.
So that one
Mm.
approach I can think about it. But yeah, we
Mm.
can explore. Leaflet is mostly similar like open layer what we are using. It's
Mm.
not very much different.
Mm. Right. Okay. So let's connect on that, Kaustubh, right? If there's somebody at your end, then we can have a
Yeah,
deeper
sure.
discussion.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question from Kshitij, where are we keeping the data? Yeah. So again, I mean, one way, Kshitij, is that when we do it on the CoStack, then like Kapil is saying, we can keep publishing the GeoJSON, and then the GeoJSON can be pulled into any app and shown over there.
So like the data is public or similar to us or
Yeah.
yeah, so
It's
like
similar GeoZero server architecture, Shitesh. So we can also follow the same on leaflet. I
yeah,
was reading it's
yeah,
similar.
Leaflet also provides the way to like render GeoJSONs and rather like raster is similar to OpenLayer. So yeah, if we Leaflet is concerned, I think if you are not doing any complex operation, then Leaflet is good.
Hmm. ठीक है. So let's touch base on this and see what's the best way to uh, push this out.
Sorry, Adi, before I just drop out,
Yeah.
I had one question. This is for something else I'm working on,
Uh-huh.
but it might be useful for you also. I don't know, does satellite data give you a signal of nitrification or nitrogen in any of the bands?
People have tried to do soil nitrogen estimation
Mm-hmm.
using remote sensing and along with all sorts of other data. So the
Okay.
terrain, the rainfall, the slope, and those kind of things.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at I'm looking at levels of kind of nitrification in the soil, especially in lands next to forests, because we're trying to figure out why certain invasives are prevalent in certain forests. And one hypothesis is that there's large scale kind of nitrogen pollution which flows from these farms into. So I was wondering if this has been looked
Yeah.
at. So.
Right. So
And it
I
might be
think
useful for, all the civil organizations that you are working with, if that kind of data are useful for them.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Right. Actually, I mean, we should definitely look more deeply. So there are these, I mean, very recently open soil maps have been published, um, and we can see how they perform. One issue with looking at forest nitrogen, I mean, nitrogen on forest soils is that a lot of data that's, however, collected on soil is on farming areas. So, but yeah, I mean, all said and done, the point is we should definitely, we can see, I can point you to some data sets that have been published, and we can see how we can, I mean, if how accurate those estimates are. Yeah. Shubham is also saying that some of these SAR bands, right, so these are some new, the Nisar satellite probably you mean, Shubham, right, which is now giving this data, or about to start giving this data. So things are changing rapidly. Yeah.
Professor Adri, if I can add to that, the aforementioned water quality parameter on trophic state index and chlorophyll A, these usually serve as good proxies for, I won't say nitrification of that water, but say the biological productivity of that water, of which nitrification might be one component, right? So we can't zero in on nitrogen per se, but say NPK and more broadly these things that can cause algal blooms and the stuff that Slip's mentioning. Yeah, what I mean is it's not an absolute measurement of nitrogen, but we can definitely detect proxies of it for sure. Yeah, we are.
Cool. Yeah. Great. Cool. Okay, great. So let's move to
Thanks.
Shivam, you want to present next?
Made some progress in my project, so I just want to show you the progress. Am I audible properly, sir?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I will just share the screen. My screen is visible, sir?
Yeah.
So, first of all, I have created an script which will scrape the data for the single tehsil by inputting the tehsil name directly from the government website. So this is the code. I will just run the code. So I'll just put the tehsil name. You can see. I'll just put a valley. It is a tehsil from Antanpur district of Andhra Pradesh. And just click on yes. So you can see it will just start the scraping of the data directly from the website of that particular tehsil. You can see it has started the scraping. Yes, you can see the output here.
Great.
And just a sec, split the screen. So if there is data, then it will mention the data here in the terminal. And if there is no data, means if the column is empty or there is no data for the particular crop, it will just skip and just fastly go over the next crop. As you can see, it is skipping fastly and just skipping the crops which whose data is not available. And it will take just a few like 1 to 2 seconds for the data available to note down the data, and it will skip the no means empty data of the crop. So you can see in just few seconds, or we can say half a minute, it reached over 21st of the crop from 142 of the crops, and it is just noting down the data which is available and skipping the empty data of the crop. So and afterwards, when all the 142 crops data is acquired, it will just store it in this CSV file.
Great. Fantastic.
I worked, I've done some trial and error. So there are some scripts there. You can see. Yes, this is one progress I have done, and I've been working on the API too. So I'll just show you the API. This is the API backend. I'll just run the code. Just a sec. So we'll directly go to the web page. This is the home page of the API. You can see, and when I put any stencil name over here, so this is just a demo data. I have not integrated the actual crop data. It is just a demo which I have created. So you can see after I just input the tehsil name in the search bar, it will show the data which is available in the database, or if the data is not available in the database, it will directly go to the website here, and then start the scraping of the unnoted data of the tehsil, and will show in the UI, and then the data will be available for the download too. So I'm working on that. It is just a demo part. So that's it.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Right, when you're searching for a tehsil, how do you get the
Yes.
state and district for that tehsil?
Sir, in the database, it will be already mentioned. I have created an script that will, yes, you can see the code is visible. So you can see here the state value, the state name, and everything is mentioned here. So in the database, I will just note down all the tehsil state, district, and tehsil names. So it will be easy for the code to just find out the tehsil from which district it is, and it will directly start the scripting from there.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Shivam,
Sir,
what
just
is
a
this
sec.
state value?
Yes, sir. Yes, just a sec. The state value, it is mentioned in the website. Means
Okay,
the
so
website. Yes, the just a sec. Sir, it is used in the website itself. Means the state value is of the state, district value, and tehsil value. So according to this state values, district value and tehsil value, the code is finding out the means the correct tehsil state and district to search for.
Okay.
This is not my doing. It is from the website. Means I have automated the script, so it has directly taken this value automatically, the script. So it is by default.
Understood.
Just a
Great.
sec, sir. I will show you the values of all the tehsils. You can see the Excel file.
Mm. Okay.
Yes, sir. You can see it is by default state value, district value, tehsil value, and each value is different for each state, district, and tehsil.
Mm.
And
Very nice. Mm.
in this Excel file, all the 6,000 tehsils, 6,400 tehsils are mentioned, and their values, means state
Mm.
value, district value, and tehsil values.
Great.
Okay, Shivam, where was this data scraped from? Details of all the tehsils?
So directly from the website. Means I have used some ChatGPT to do that. So when I run the code, it has directly given me the Excel file automatically. I will show you the code here of this. Sorry, sir, I can't see the. I'm not able to find the code of that. But it is directly taken from the website itself. Means it has taken it from this inspect tab. I think so. Hello.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Fantastic. Um, yeah, Shivam, actually, one more good thing that Shivam had done is that so the crop names, right? Like here we are scraping from this particular tehsil, this particular agri census website, and they are using some list of crop names. Uh, but if we want to get some other information about the crops, let's say crop prices, where we go to a different website, then the spelling of the crop names can be different. So what Shivam had also done is he had developed a standard naming convention for crops, um, uh, based on whether it's a cereal crop and then some primary name like paddy and then some secondary, that is
Yes,
it. Yeah.
I'll show you that.
Uh,
Mm,
yeah.
Let me find
So
it.
it will be great, Shivam, if you can also, when you're producing the final output data, if you can also add the value for the standard crop name that we are using, then we can, over time, we can just make the standard everywhere. As in, for any crop related data in the core stack, we can use the same naming convention.
Okay, sir. I'll just make the API first, and then I'll just use, do the update as it will directly convert the crop name into standard spelling.
Awesome.
So there is one another um, source where the crops are classified. So I just wanted to ask which source, or did you build it yourself, or is it downloaded? Like, is it using some convention that's already being used somewhere? So because otherwise, I can share the the crop classification convention from there, which the government is already using, and that might also be helpful for you to build a sort of standardized way of that can be used across multiple government platforms, perhaps. Um,
Yes, sir, it will be good for me. It is
I
already
just
available.
at the moment can't remember the actual website. I think it was X Census or something like that. So I just wanted to ask you, Shivam, where did you get this? Did you classify it yourself? Is
Yes,
it a
sir.
new classification?
Yes, I classified it myself. I was just going to search for the authenticated or actual classification, but I just done on for the demo basis. It is not finalized, so I can change the classification or the standard property.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Sure.
can. Yeah, we can also just discuss that. I think I would have a copy. Amit, I can share it with you, and you can also take a look. And
Okay.
great. No, fantastic. This is very cool. Um, Great. Uh, Trishal, you want to discuss something, or anyone
So
else? Yeah.
just a thing.
Mm.
You guys asked for the website to check this website if the latest crop findings are there.
Mm-hmm.
We are discussing it on the mail, but
Mm-hmm.
in this website there is no actual classification of the crop according to the tehsil. Yes, on the tehsil
Okay.
basis.
Okay.
I'll
It's
check.
only district
I'll check
level.
this. Yes, I checked
Mm.
this whole website, but I'm not able to find the proper tehsil
Mm.
level classification.
Mm.
And so far, this is the only website that gives the tehsil level cropping pattern.
Mm.
But I'll search for more if there is any.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's quite interesting. We're not getting TESI level data after 2015, 16. Not been published.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Great.
Hi, Professor. I don't have any front-end changes to demonstrate right now because I think the little work I have done this week and the next, it's mainly on the back end. Beyond, say, the code base, I'm not sure what to show, but if I can just talk through it. There's two things that I've been working on in the current code base, Professor. The first is a metadata schema for the layers that's being displayed on the app, right? I think we discussed this in emails where we were talking about the app showing what each layer means, right, in terms of the field types, units, and being able to differentiate between time series and categorical data. I think put simply, say for instance, if we're showing crop intensity for any given region, what that say 1.5 or whatever value is being shown on the map really means for someone using is something that I'm working on, and this, of course, I'll do it by aligning it with the stack spec for core stack and the other data sets. And the second is the same thing. It will be a stack spec for the annotations we're exporting from the app, right? Right now, field observations are being exported either as a GeoJSON or a CSV file. But I am again, this is the second part is purely theoretical right now. I'm not sure how to go about it, but a stack compliant output of these field annotations collected from this app is something I would want to work on. And this again in the note and the email, it might have seemed like there's two very different things I'm doing in the app right now. So the first is say the front end experience where I want fields to seem like a PBR, biodiversity register. And from the backend, the annotations that we export from this should also be structured in a manner that can help us ground or fine tune geospatial models or data sets. So yes, these seem like two different tasks, but at least in my head, they do seem like something we can achieve on this app. But a lot of work needs to be done before I can get that.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. I personally am waiting for, just a handy app where we can just look at all the layers in one go and, yeah, turn them on, off, and it's very useful in the field.
Yes, Professor. There's some more hygiene in terms of, say, there's a lot of static layers right now. For instance, the Western Ghats boundary in the current version of the app, if you download and install, that's hard coded in. And like you mentioned, the base map is, even if I'm using OpenStreetMap instead of Google Maps, it's bulky. So right now it's completely static. We can see district names, but once I zoom in from district, it remains there. I'm not getting more granular information. So again, making that stable and finding the best way of serving a base map, or deciding whether or not we should actually use a base map for an app like this is something that I have to explore in the next week.
Hmm. Great, great. Fantastic. Cool. So, if you want, I can show a little bit of some things that we were talking to Anil about. Um, we can also do it next week if you want. Um, should I go ahead, or are
Yes, sir, go
people?
ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so Anil was here, and Anil has been working on this foundation model called Tessera. Um, so some of you who attended his the hackathon, right, may have seen that. Okay, actually, there was another thing also that I wanted to show, but let me do this first. Um, uh, so. Uh, what the remote sensing models, the foundation models can do is that basically, given a little bit of training data, um, you can use the final set of embeddings that are produced to do all sorts of different classification tasks. Now, for these classification tasks, some of them are right, which are kind of the dynamic world or IndiaSat and so on, are already able to do certain tasks quite well based on spectral data. And there's good amount of training data also available for many of these things, right? But for some, it may not be. So this is an example of something that we were doing, that we basically, one of our students, Raman, who's probably presented in some of these things before. So we basically downloaded these high-res Google satellite maps, yeah, and then ran object detection on them. We just use a simple object detection model called YOLO, in which you feed some samples. So what we wanted to see is that, can we distinguish between plantations and the regular forests? Because in the LULC, these come out as trees and forests also come out as trees. Yeah. But we didn't have a lot of training data for plantation. So to create this training data, we ran this object detection, and the object detection is able to identify these plantations. Yeah. And largely that's because here you can clearly see, right, that these plantations have a very nice grid-like pattern, right? So that's what these object detection models like YOLO are able to spot. So they're able to identify these plantations. And then what we did is, on these plantations, we used alpha embeddings. Yeah, these are the embeddings that Google had published, and we were able to. So in one of these maps over here, so this is basically the same IndiaSat LULC, but effectively what we were able to do is, we were able to add a new class called plantation. So earlier everything was in a tree or forest, but we were able to break up this tree forest class into having a new class called plantation. So now even so similarly, right, some things which are quite relevant, that can we detect solar panels, especially over solar farms. So that's something that Anil showed, that Tessera is able to do it well, but this was using some little bit of training data in the UK. But in this way, we could potentially label, right, if we are able to spot some um, solar panels, and we are able to build a little bit of training data based on that. We can then use object detection to spot a couple more solar panels, and then use it in improving LULCs of this type. Yeah, or just to start giving estimates that in different villages what's the extent of solar panel deployment, right? Those things could be pretty interesting. So basically, what Raman did is that now scraping this Google Maps very high-res data is not easy. So Raman basically identified multiple 1 km by 1 km grids. And so instead of scraping like high-res data, which is not possible for us, right, for all of India, we just scraped it for, I don't remember, about 1,000 or so of these 1 km grids. And in those, we then ran object detection, right? So that's the idea. And this thing it could be done to try to spot all sorts of interesting things, right? Solar panels is one, but maybe, we can try identifying. So like earlier we were talking about wetlands, right? How do we distinguish wetlands from water bodies? Where the wetlands would typically be those where there is some vegetation that comes up in between and then it goes off. Yeah. The remote sensing may be making mistakes. At some point, for some of these wetland pixels, it might be calling the vegetation. For some, it might be calling them water, just based on the availability. But by using these high-res images, we might be able to make out more clearly what are wetlands, what are non-wetlands. So similarly for different types of grasslands, yeah, that some are just plain grasslands, some are woody grasslands where there are trees interspersed with grasslands. So a lot of such classes could be developed using these object detection models on samples like these ones, and then we do LULCs wall to wall. So that's something that Anil and his team are quite interested in. And right, so if somebody wants to kind of get into this kind of work, then it'll be quite interesting. Yeah. So yeah. Hmm. Uh, cool. So yes, I mean, these are, I'll also just post it on the Discord channel. Yeah, but these things, right, if someone is interested, then yeah, it'll be good to try out some of these things.
Professor Adi, just one thought on this. While the embedding story, yes, like you said, Tessera is superior. I think where Alpha Earth brings 64 bands, Tessera has about 128 for every pixel. But on the segmentation layer, right, the inference models, from our limited benchmarking experiences, YOLO is great for when we want to detect known objects, cars, parking lot, buildings, planes. But for, say, more fuzzy objects, like say differentiating between tree cover, we found that Meta's new SAM2 model ends up performing better, especially where you want to track deforestation and stuff. But also that SAM2 allows for text-based prompts, which is very exciting for us. So I think that's also worth investigating for this.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's giving interesting ideas, right? That we can just sample randomly and push them into a VLM to describe that particular tile. Yeah, and then let's see if the VLM is able to, I mean, if from the output we are able to know which ones should we manually examine and then ground truth. So some of those could be, yeah, I mean, there's many possibilities. Things are moving really fast, and many powerful things are becoming possible now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. Cool. So I think, so then let's stop for today. And yeah, I mean, it's great to see so many exciting things happening. Yeah.
But
All right.